This is ELN Radio on WSOE 89.3 FM. Here are the stories making headlines across the globe today.
The terrorist group Al-Shabaab threatened Kenyan authorities on Twitter today. They carried out the attack on the Westgate Mall last week and said that more attacks are coming. Kenyan authorities are still investigating how a group that was thought to be on the run was able to pull off such a large-scale attack.
Writer Tom Clancy passed away today at the age of 66. Clancy is best known for his book, The Hunt for Red October. Written in 1984, was made into a movie in 1990. Clancy wrote 27 other novels, which inspired Splinter Cell video game series. Clancy died in Baltimore after a short illness.
The U.S. government enters day 2 of the shutdown today, but members of Congress are still being paid. We'll have more on why that is later on the show. Stick with us. ELN Radio begins right now.
It's Wednesday at 6 o'clock. That means that it's time for ELN Radio on 89.3 WSOE. I'm Bella Mazzola.
And I'm Atoria Mills. Here's what's coming up today on the show.
A student was struck by a drunk driver, but her injuries aren't her only problem.
There are new drugs and treatments heading to the doctor's office soon. We will tell you what they are and what they threat or treat.
And if you're looking for something to do around campus, we've got everything happening at Elon coming up later in the show.
All that and more coming up on ELN Radio.
Thank you for joining us. Our top story tonight comes to us from Washington, D.C. It's day 2 of the federal government shutdown, and already both sides are blaming the other. A recent CNN poll shows that most Americans blame the House GOP for the shutdown, a sentiment echoed by both Democrats and some Republicans. The shutdown paralyzes the federal government by removing its ability to spend money, meaning all non-essential federal employees won't be paid while the shutdown lasts, and all federal land and buildings are closed. House Republicans have refused to vote on a budget that doesn't include defunding or delaying Obamacare, and the democratically controlled Senate has refused to accept those demands. This afternoon, President Obama invited professional leadership to the White House to resolve the conflict and end the shutdown, but says that Democrats aren't planning on compromising. The meeting began just a half hour ago, so stick with Elon Local News for more updates later tonight.
Anger over the shutdown is spreading. Yesterday, busloads of World War II veterans crossed barricades and entered a closed World War II memorial in protest. National monuments are closed for the duration of the shutdown, but police made no effort to stop the veterans as they entered the memorial. Non-essential federal employees aren't paid during the shutdown, but one group of federal employees are still getting a paycheck. Congress. All members of the U.S. House and Senate are being paid during the shutdown, despite the fact that it's their job to pass a budget. Some members of Congress have submitted requests to have their pay furloughed alongside other federal employees, but most of Congress will still be paid.
Many people see the shutdown as a conflict between Republicans and Democrats, and they have a point, but that's not the whole story. Representative Peter King, a Republican from New York, made headlines last week when he attacked fellow Republican Ted Cruz for attempting to filibuster the House plan, and repeated his attacks Tuesday on CNN when he called Cruz a fraud and attacked other Republicans for using the shutdown to dismantle Obamacare. King made headlines a few months ago for his hardline stance against Islam and his hawkish Middle East policy, and has made headlines this week for a failed revolt against more conservative members of his own party. King took to the House floor in the waning hours of Monday night in a last-ditch effort to convince Republicans to vote for a budget that would pass in time to avert a shutdown. He failed. Only 5 other Republicans voted with him, and 4 of those were extreme conservatives who thought that Republican leadership wasn't going far enough to dismantle the health care law.
While the House and Senate continue to be deadlocked over whether or not to delay health care law, Obamacare itself is rolling out. Enrollment for Obamacare began yesterday, and the confusion has begun. A number of glitches in the online system delayed enrollment for some people, and others didn't know where to sign up at all. Even more confusing is the name. A study by Business Week has found that many Americans think Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are different laws. They aren't. Obamacare is a nickname coined by the Republicans that Democrats later adopted, and that's led to some people claiming that they prefer one over the other. Enrollments began yesterday, but the changes won't start until January of next year, unless Republicans force Democrats to delay the law to fund the government. Coming up after the break, we'll tell you about the latest accident on campus and ELN Crime Watch.
And we've got updates on the Department of Justice investigation into the Alamance County Sheriff's Department. Stick with us right here on WSOE 89.3.
Welcome back to ELN Radio on 89.3 WSOE. Here's what's happening this week in Here's what's happening in this week's Crime Watch.
A night out for one Elon student ended with a trip to the hospital after another Elon student hit her with his car. Police arrested the driver on several charges, including driving under the influence of alcohol. Our Eric Halprin has the story.
Sophomore Amanda Bowden is in the hospital recovering after being hit by a drunk driver just a couple feet away from the Acorn Inn. Elon Local News spoke with her friend who was holding her hand when it happened.
It felt really surreal. I started crying immediately because I just assumed that something worse had happened to her.
Mary Robbins was crossing West Haggard Avenue with Amanda Bowden early Friday morning. That's when Elon Town Police say another Elon student driving down Haggard Ave hit Bowden, throwing her 37 feet down the road.
I started panicked, and I screamed Amanda and tried to grab one of her arms as I jumped backwards. But I don't think she saw the car coming at all. And then I saw her get hit.
An ambulance took Bowden to the hospital. She had surgery on both her elbow and shoulder and is starting physical therapy this week.
She's really, really lucky. That's what the doctors keep telling her, too.
The driver of the car is Elon student Robert Flieger. The police report says Flieger had a .17 blood alcohol level. That's more than twice the legal limit. Flieger faces 3 charges, including driving while impaired and consuming alcohol under the age of 21. On West Haggard Avenue, Eric Halprin, Elon Local News.
Flieger has been charged with driving while intoxicated and doing so while on a provisional driver's license. Bowden is still in the hospital, where she could be for several weeks. Elon Town Police describe her injuries as major, but that's not her only problem. Elon Town Police today charged Bowden with 2 violations: consumption of alcohol by minor and failure to yield the traffic while crossing the street. This story is still developing, so be sure to keep checking our website at elonlocalnews.com for all of the latest updates.
Bowden and Flieger aren't the only Elon students in trouble this week. Former Elon defensive back Gerald Armstrong was arrested last week on a felony drug charge. According to the police report, Armstrong was stopped on East Haggard Avenue last Tuesday night for speeding and driving with a broken headlight. And the reporting officer said that Armstrong was, quote, acting suspicious. The officer called in a K-9 unit that searched the car and found more than an ounce of marijuana in the glove compartment, after which Armstrong was arrested and taken to the Alamance County Jail. And Elon students aren't the only people in trouble with the law. Alamance's County Sheriff Department is currently being investigated by the Department of Justice. We have updates on the case against Terry Johnson, the sheriff of Alamance County, who has been charged by the U.S. Department of Justice with racially targeting Hispanic Americans at traffic stops across the county. Last week, Johnson's court cost. Sure to stay with Elon Local News as we continue to follow this and other stories.
Coming up after the break, we'll update you on health issues on campus and across the country. We'll be right back. Welcome back to ELN Radio. Let's look at what is going on this week in this week's health segment. Colonnades Dining Hall scored a 95 yesterday in a public health inspection, 2 weeks after it scored an 82, and was cited for several violations. But Colonnades isn't the only dining hall that was inspected.
Lakeside Dining Hall has dropped from a 99 to a 90 since it was last inspected in March. An inspection from last week found numerous problems with the dining hall, including improper holding temperatures for food and cleanliness issues in the dishwashing area. Employees were also cited for failing to cover their hair while working with food and lack of sneeze guards.
That leaves one dining hall that hasn't been inspected this semester, McEwen. According to the Alamance County Health Department, it will be inspected within a week. Stick with ELN for that score as soon as it is released.
Moving on to national health, there are several new advancements in medicine that could be coming to hospitals soon. Some diseases thought to be incurable might not be incurable after all. The foot cream Cycloprox is now approved by the FDA for testing to see if it may cure HIV, the disease that causes AIDS. The medicine fights the disease by shutting down the powerhouse infected cells. And finally, skin cancer is thought to be the deadliest form of cancer, and it may also have a cure. A new generation of drugs has been released that triggers the immune system to fight cancer.
And those new drugs aren't the only medical breakthroughs making headlines. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we took a look at some of the strides being made to fight this deadly disease.
Several new treatments to help fight breast cancer are in development across the country, including 3D mammograms, which can show doctors a better representation of where cancerous cells are located in the body and help catch them earlier. And a new form of ultrasound machines is being developed that researchers say could prevent unnecessary surgery to remove cancer cells.
Technology isn't the only thing being used. Several new medical treatments are in development that can fight and even prevent breast cancer. An FDA panel has recommended the pill Perjeta to be approved as a treatment for early-stage breast cancer, and researchers at Cleveland Clinic have discovered a vaccine that can prevent it in mice genetically predisposed to the disease. Finally, there is a new high-tech gene test that could come to hospitals as early as next year. This test could accurately predict a woman's risk for recurring breast cancer for a span of 10 years and could change how doctors look at the treatment options for recurring cancer. Several Elon organizations have breast cancer awareness events this month. October 19th is Elon's Football's Pink Day, and several organizations will be raising funds for Little Pink Houses of Hope, a charity that funds retreats for families of people with the disease. There's a new type of cigarettes making its way around college campuses, but once the smoke clears, is it good for you? Our Gary Grumbach has more.
Cigarettes are bad for you, straight up. They're not cool, they're just bad for you.
Henry Crompton is one student who says there's an alternative to smoking. They're electronic cigarettes, more commonly known as e-cigarettes.
You could literally put it down for like a couple weeks and you wouldn't even want to smoke it, but it's just nice to have, it's just the experience.
Other students smoke them but still think they're harmful.
It's still a carcinogen, so you can still get lung cancer and throat cancer and mouth cancer and all the other kinds of cancers that come with cigarettes.
The new craze has caught the doctor's eye. Dr. Bowley, a cardiologist in Forsyth County, warns users about the risks of e-cigarettes.
You really don't want people to use this as a substitute for nicotine. Nicotine is nicotine. It's a stimulant. It increases heart rate and blood pressure. It's an addictive substance.
But the health effects don't end there. Studies have shown that the use of e-cigarettes causes airway flow resistance, secondhand vapors to be released into the air, and according to the FDA, ingredients in e-cigarettes are known to be toxic to humans. Despite health concerns, one reason for the recent trend is because e-cigarettes aren't expensive. Starter kits usually run between $30 and $100, with the estimated annual cost of cartridges totaling about $600. This is cheaper than smoking a pack a day, which costs around $1,000 a year. Elon's smoking policy says that you must be standing 30 feet away from a building if you want to smoke. The same rule currently applies for e-cigarettes. The Campus Committee on Alcohol and Other Drugs is revisiting the policy this year. Gary Grumbach, Elon Local News.
E-cigarettes have not been yet approved by the FDA. Dr. Bowley believes it will take up to 5 years for the official studies to be complete. Coming up after the break, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of technology. Stick with us right here on WSOE. Welcome back to ELN on WSOE. We have an update on the case against Alamance County Sheriff's Terry Johnson. The Department of Justice's lawsuit has cost Alamance County taxpayers $132,000. With all of the new technology, how can you keep up with it at all? Our Gary Grumbach looked at the latest technology trends and products.
There's a lot going on in the tech world. Here's a recap of what's abuzz in cyberspace. You've probably heard of an unlimited cell phone plan, but what if it was unlimited for life? A company called Freedom Pop launched a mobile phone service on Tuesday that offers customers 500 text messages and 200 anytime voice minutes for free each month for life. According to its CEO, Stephen Stokely's, their mission is to ensure that everyone has access to affordable, convenient, and essential communications. Google has thought outside of the box once again. Android game vending machines have been rolled out across the country of Japan. 3 Google Play machines will sell more than 15 gaming titles with a process that's as easy as buying a bag of chips. No word yet on if these game vending machines have plans to be released in the United States. And finally, the creators of an anti-bullying Kindle ebook and iPhone app are attempting to raise more than $100,000 and donate all sales to organizations supporting National Bullying Prevention Month throughout October. The ebook costs $2.99 on Amazon and $2 at the App Store. Every penny goes to charities including Bullying UK, Stomp Out Bullying, the Pacer Center, and the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Educational Network. With all the tech news you need to know, I'm Gary Grumbach, Elon Local News.
Technology is increasingly becoming the way Elon students find jobs. Our Katie Maraghy has everything you need to know about managing your social media presence.
Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. With social media being such a large part of college students' lives, they're using an online platform for job networking. If you're looking to improve your LinkedIn presence, here are a few tips on connecting with others. First, personalize all your connections. It is a social media site after all. Instead of friends like on Facebook, LinkedIn deals in professional connections. Add a personal message every time you connect and interact with someone. Mention when and where you worked with them and explain why you're reaching out so they have a point of reference. Don't just blindside them. Next, you wouldn't leave your resume unfinished, so make sure you tie up loose ends on your LinkedIn profile as well. Nothing screams rookie like a page with blank sections. On the left side of your screen, there's even a checklist to assure you've filled everything out, letting a future employer know as much as possible about your skills and interests. Also, make sure you use the recommendations feature. LinkedIn does call itself the world's largest professional network. Reach out to bosses, past and present, to ask for a recommendation, adding credibility to your profile. By adding a variety of people and experiences, you make yourself that much more attractive to employers.
Katie Maraghy, Elon Local News.
Here are some ways to make the most out of your 4 days off.
First, plan ahead. If you start early, you will find better deals online and could be less stress as the break approaches.
Second, if you're trying to decide between driving or flying to your destination, compare e-gas prices with flight prices before you commit. That could end up saving you some money.
Next, if you choose to look for flights, check out websites like kayak.com or travelocity.com before you book. These sites post great flight deals daily, and there could be a deal for you.
Also, Groupon, this site posts great deals from day trips to hotels.
And lastly, if you're not leaving Elon for fall break, remember the university does not offer meal plan options during the week. To save money, buy groceries at local stores like Target or Food Lion. And don't forget to check online for coupons.
For more ways to save money, check out our website at elonlocalnews.com. Coming up after the break, we'll introduce you to one Elon student whose family has been connected to Elon for generations.
Welcome back to ELN Radio. Last spring, Elon hosted a forum on gun violence in the wake of the Sandy Hook Elementary School tragedy. The event featured a panel discussion which included members of Elon's faculty and staff, and Elon is looking to host another panel discussion this fall.
This Tuesday at College Coffee, Elon students will be able to vote for a discussion topic from a list determined by SGA. The committee, which includes faculty and students, selected a list of 8 hot-button issues that would both provide an interesting debate, as well as draw members from both Elon's campus and the surrounding community to attend. The list includes topics such as gay marriage, race relations, healthcare reform, and immigration. The committee includes several members of Elon's faculty and a representative from the Burlington Times News, which will be covering the event. The panel will be selected from Elon's faculty and students, and the committee hopes to have experts from outside Elon on the panel as well. The panel will include questions from the audience, but all questions will be screened by a moderator before they can be asked. The discussion will be held from 7 to 8:15 on November 4th in McKinnon Hall, and Elon Local News will broadcast live coverage for the duration of the show. Be sure to stick with us in the months ahead as the event is finalized.
Many students at Elon have had family members who have come here before them, but our Megan Foard found one Elon student with a longer legacy than most.
When I stepped onto Elon's campus, I knew there was something special.
Senior Will Gallier isn't the only member of his family who called Elon home. His family has been a part of Elon since it became a college in 1889.
I came to Elon as a freshman. I didn't really know about the backgrounds. I knew that my grandmother was on the board at one point for the school.
His grandmother was a trustee. His great-great-grandfather, Nathaniel G. Newman, graduated in the first class at Elon. He also built West Storm. Nathaniel's brother, John U. Newman, taught at the college and even named it Elon.
It was a huge shock, but kind of my background in loving history, and I mean my ancestry in general, I just really, really enjoyed the moment.
Gallier found out about his family's heritage his freshman year. Now it's a fun fact he uses in classes.
I get pretty good reactions, and one class I've actually said it into, the professor was just like, "Oh, Elon royalty."
Gallier says one of the most interesting members of his family is Lila Newman. She was a deaf art teacher who is well known in the community.
She left her house door open all the time because she was deaf. She couldn't hear it, and so people were just welcome to walk into her house.
His parents met at Elon and are still married today. Gallier says his Elon experience won't end at graduation this spring.
Elon will always be a part of my life. I see myself, even if I live in the far corners of the earth, coming back to here several times.
Now, Gallagher says he wants to come back to campus in the future and help out with the education program.
Now we have John Bowden here to talk to us about the 125th show.
Hi, it's great to be here. I am actually a producer for our 125th show. Elon Local News is putting on a look back in history of the last 125 years, of our existence as a university. And so we're taking a look at many of the facets of both Elon's campus and the community. I personally am working on a piece about Elon's traditions, where we're going to be looking at college coffee, acorns and saplings, and getting them at graduation and in your freshman year. And I'm also going to be taking a look at College Chapel, which is now known, which our freshman viewers will know as Newman Lumen. College Chapel has been a staple on Elon's campus since we were founded by the United Church of Christ, and it's really interesting to see how that activity has moved from sort of a required Christian service to a all-inclusive, multi-religious service that it is today. So that's our 125th show. It's going to be held in December. And I highly encourage everyone on Elon's campus to come out to our premiere party and tune in. Thank you, guys.
Coming up after the break, we will tell you what is happening this week at Elon. Stick with us.
Welcome back to ELN Radio on 89.3 WSOE. Here's what's going on this week at Elon. Elon's annual fall convocation is this Thursday. This year's speaker is Steve Wozniak.
Wozniak co-founded the tech giant Apple with Steve Jobs and Ronald Wayne and single-handedly invented the first two Apple computers in the late 1970s. He now works for Fusion IO as their chief scientist. Wozniak will speak in the Alumni Gym Thursday at 3:30 and will host a Q&A session in Whitley Auditorium at 1:15. Tickets to convocation are already sold out, but you still might be able to see it. There will be a standby line outside the gym at 2:40.
Convocation isn't the only thing happening at Elon this week. Let's take a look at what is happening inside the bubble. There are some events coming up on campus this week. The Department of Performing Arts will be putting on the Children's Hour, a 1934 Broadway show with an Elon spin. There will be 8 showings, beginning tomorrow at 7:30 in Black Box Theater. Admission is $12 for free with your Phoenix card. The Student Union Board's monthly movie run will be happening this Friday from 9 to 5. Visit Mosley 207 to purchase tickets for Carousel Cinemas at Alamance Crossing. Tickets are just $5 and can be used for any movie at any time. Are you ready to get colorful? Campus Recreation and Eonathon are putting on the second annual color run on South Campus. The 2-mile run starts at noon, and your $10 registration comes with a t-shirt. All proceeds will benefit the Children's Miracle Network. So whether it's theater, movies, or color, be sure to get out and enjoy all of what Elon University has to offer.
It's a big week for Elon athletics and especially Elon soccer. The 20th ranked Elon men's soccer team hosts SoCon rival Appalachian State on Saturday. App State has been struggling this year and are 2-1-6. The Phoenix are 8-1-1 and fresh off a victory over the Campbell University Fighting Camels. The Elon football team looks to put the brakes on what is quickly turning into a train wreck of a season. The Phoenix head to Greenville, South Carolina to face the Furman Paladins on Saturday. Head coach Jason Swepson looks to get his 5th SoCon victory in his 3rd year of coaching the Phoenix. And finally, the volleyball team has an important SoCon slate. The women take on the UNCG Spartans tonight in Greensboro before heading on to take Davidson. Led by Callie Estes, the women look to improve to 3-1 in SoCon play. That's what we have going on in sports. For continuing sports coverage, be sure to follow us on Twitter at ELN Sports. Joe Bruno, Elon Local News.
That's all we have for this week's ELN radio show, but you don't have to wait until next week to hear all the news from Elon. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and ElonLocalNews.com for news throughout the week. From all of us at ELN and WSOE, have a great week, Elon.